Today we are starting about role-based permission. So what exactly the role-based permission? We call it as a RBP as well. So before any configuration, we will see all the settings are clear or not, or else we will do one by one permissions for required transactions or configuration. Please excuse me, I'm not well actually. So if you get disturbed with my voice, please do let me know. I'll stop.
Okay.
Yeah. So what exactly the RBP and where we can see the role-based permissions into the system. So let's get started. So for the role-based permission, from the action search, we will be going to the manage permissions roles. So this is very important for giving the roles to the exact employees or managers or else admin. So here we have to go for a manage permission roles. Before going to this one, let me explain you the theory part. So before role-based permission, there are three different kinds of permission. One is employee self-service, one is manager self-service, and one is HR business partner. So there are three different roles in this one. For employees, what they can view into the system, what they can edit into the system or in their profile, those kind of permission. For managers, for their report is what kind of permission he can give to their report is those kind of permission. For HR business partner and admin, for the particular user, what kind of permission he can enable for the resources to work on the configuration part. Now we can demonstrate on the step-by-step process. So to work on the RBP, we will follow four frameworks. So what exactly the four frameworks are? First is permission group, next permission role, third is granted user, and fourth is a target user. So what exactly the permission group? So permission group is nothing but group of user with similar employment characteristics. Okay, so in like a HR department is there in that similar characteristics in any particular employment or particular people with the same employment characteristic, we will be form a permission group. Next, permission role. What exactly the permission role is? A list of permissions or transactions. So what exactly the permissions or transaction? What permission you are enabling for them? So that comes under the permission role. Now, granted user, group of user for whom the permission role is to be granted. I hope is this recording. Okay. And granted user means for whom you are granting the permission, and target user, group of employees that the permission role is to be executed by the granted user. Suppose granted user has given the permission, so who are the end users for that one? So those are nothing but the target user. So there are three different kinds of roles: employees self-service, manager self-service, and HR business partner. For that, to enable that roles, we will follow four frameworks. Those are permission group, permission role, granted user, and target user. I hope you're clear with this one. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the do you got the difference, right? What exactly the roles and what exactly the frameworks? So now let's learn about the role, three kinds of role what we discussed. So first is employee self-service, which one is ESS, means nothing but employee self-service. Enable employees to perform self-service tasks. For example, what they can view, what they can edit, and what they can apply for the time off. And manager self-service, as I discussed, like what kind of permissions or approval he want to give to the particular team. And HR business partner and employee, for which user what kind of permissions are granted for the configuration process. Now let's see the practical thing. So for the practical, first we will go with the manage permission roles. Manage permission role. Same page we will come back again. So first framework is to create a group here. So or else we can also start with the new permissions. So create new. You are audible. My voice is audible, right?
Yes, ma'am, it's audible.
Okay. So I'm just mentioning here the name testing 1, 2, 3. Description, if you want to give any particular description, you can give. And now permission. So let's go to the permission. So once we land up on the permission, there are two types of permissions are there. One is user permission and next is admin permission, administrator permission. Let's see what exactly the user permission. So calibration, objective performance, career development, continuous performance, these are all comes under the PMGM modules. So let's start for the employee central only. So first is employee central effective dated entity. What exactly employee central effective dated entity is? The object which is capturing the history from the day one or the from the object has been created. Example, so this will be mainly into the employee profile. Let me go to the employee profile. Okay, so effective dated entity means the object which is capturing the history whenever you're doing any changes. So those we can see into the employee personal info. And this is the interview question as well as your examination question as well. What exactly the effective dated entity? We can see in the address, we can see in the dependent, and we can see in the job history, job information as well, job relationship. So what exactly this one? See, personal info is changing, right? Like sometimes our if the girl is married, their surname will change, and they will have dependents, and phone numbers will change, email ID will change. So these are all the details which are changing by the time. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the object which is capturing the history with the time, so whichever the object is changing from time to time, that comes under the personal effective dated entity. And in that only we will be having non-effective dated entity. So what exactly the non-effective dated entity is? Our date of birth. So our date of birth will never change. Our passport number, our government ID proof. So this will never change. So one time we enter into the system, the same will continue until the employee works with that organization. But in the effective dated entities, our personal information will change, our job information will change, our dependents will be added, our salary will be changing on a timely basis, compensation history will change. So this all comes under the effective dated entity. So here you can see the pencil icon as well as the history, because it is capturing the history from the time to time. So when you see biographical information, this is a non-effective dated entity. So once your date of birth is entered, then we cannot change that. Once your Aadhaar number or passport number is updated, then also we cannot change that history. So that comes under the non-effective dated entity. If you see here, personal history. So on Jan 1996, this profile was created. On Jan 3rd, from city has been changed, the salutations has been changed. So this is capturing the history, and you can also see the history here. But when it comes to the biographical information, you cannot see the history because it will not change once you enter the details. Hope you got the difference.
So, ma'am, salary will also come in effective date entity
Salary will also come in effective date.
because it is changing based on the next person or the height.
Salary will change,
Okay.
your compensation benefits, it is all will change. So here you can see what comes under the employee effective dated. Your personal information and your job information. So why job information? Our position entry date, the company, business unit, location, department, those kind of things. Job relationship and compensation information. So compensation will always, like year by year or based on the company policy, that will also change as a on a hike or a bonus, or different kinds of compensation will be there. Hope you are clear with this one.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, for this effective dated entity, what kind of permissions you are giving? Whether you are giving the permission to only view history, only to edit or insert, or only correct, or only delete. So, what kind of permissions you are giving to that particular group? So, this comes under the permission role here. So, permission group we have added. Now, this is the role. What kind of permissions we are giving to that particular group? Now, employee central compensation integration. So what exactly this one? For compensation integration, what kind of permissions you are giving, whether to view, you edit, or insert? So here you can see job information. In the job information, for every particular field, you need to give the permission. Again, it is depends upon your client requirement that what kind of permission you can give to whom and what user. Okay. Now, employee central quick action. So what exactly the quick action is? Permission list is empty. Okay. I'll check this error. Now, employee central import entity. So what exactly the import entity? Day before, like means our previous class, we have added one employee, right, into the system. So that means we are importing the data into the system. So while importing the data, what kind of permission you are giving to the user? Whether they can only import biographical information, personal information, national ID information, address, email, personal info, job history, for which portlet you are giving the permission, you can decide from here. So where we can see this employee central import entity is, again you need to go to add new employee, sorry, import associate or import employee. Import employee data. So if you don't have the permissions already given from here, then you will not land up on the page, or you will not import the data into the system. So for every transaction, we need to have the permissions as well. So if you can see here, these are all portlets. So as a consultant, you will be deciding that for which portlet, what permission you have to give. So biographical information, personal information, here you can see personal information, personal relationship, employment details, pension payout. So everything here listed out. So now here you can still select that for which portlet you want to give the permission. So that comes under the employee central import entities. Next comes with the employee widgets. So what exactly the widgets? Widgets are nothing but graphical representation. So those will be available in the salary or compensation details. So if you don't give those permission, then employee or users cannot see the widgets on their profile. So widgets will be into the graphical representation. You can see in the compensation column here. Maybe a table view, maybe graph or a pie chart in a graphical representation, the widgets will be available in the system. So mainly we will be using for compensation, salary positioning, salary versus team, or internal job history. So what permission you want, you can just select from here and you can enable. After that, employee view, what employee can view in their profile. So if you can see here, employee personal information, job information, talent, insert, SAP, health, promotion, these are all portlets. So you can decide from here that what employee can see, whether the background data, certification, or employee job information, personal information, family detail, future activities. So as a consultant or as an admin or as a manager, you will be giving the roles, a list of roles that what employee can exactly see into their section. Now manage document generation. The document generation is nothing but the creation of the template. So when we are creating the document generation, first we will check this settings, whether these settings are enabled or not. So here we can create like a birthday templates, or a salary hike template, employee verification template, or we need internship name change, any kind of templates we can create. Now, compensation and variable pay. So this is for compensation payroll module, payroll permission, payroll control center, recruiting reports, analytics, and employee data. Again, so employee data is nothing but it also comes under the employee central. So here in the import entity, so here we have, when we have inserted the importing the data, we have specific columns there or fields. So whether those fields are need to be updated or need to be viewed in the employee data, from here only we can decide. Now, general user permission. So what exactly the general user permission? User login, live profile access, mass create group permission, permission to create forms, or they can see their community, mobile access, or organizational chat navigation, company info. So these are all general settings. So this one also configured based on the client requirement, that what data they can see as a general user into the system. So this is all about the user permissions. Any doubts till now? Hello? Hope
Yeah,
you're
ma'am.
clear.
Yeah, ma'am.
Clear or not?
Clear,
Everyone,
clear.
please respond. Srilata, you're clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Pavitra, Renuka,
Yes, Kavita.
Shivalakshmi,
Yes, ma'am.
Vinay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll see other permissions, what and all we have. Again, permission. So till general user permission is created. Now SAP system configuration. This is for integration purpose. Payroll integration, continuous performance, MDF recruiting. So once we come down, we have administrator permission. So what and all administrator permission come? Let's see that. So time of calibration objective, these are all related to different modules here. So we can see from the employee central import settings. Okay. So here you can see that import employee data like a basic user import. So same thing, when we go to add new employee as a import import employee data, if at all it is not working, then we need to see this setting is like enable or not. Enable RBP access validation for EC element during imports, do not enable during first time import. So this is just a RBP access we need to import, not for first time after importing the employee data. Enable workflows for selected entity. So what exactly the workflow? Workflow is nothing but the approval process. Enable business rules for selected entity. So select business rules is nothing but we will be writing some rules for a specific entity like address, biographical information, dependent, email ID, or some different things. So when we are writing that, we need to enable the business rules as well. Enable execution rules against no override. So this is also for same import entities. Enable forward propagation during incremental import. So what exactly the incremental and full purge? There are two words are there. Incremental means first time when we are incremental means when we are importing the data for the second time with any changes. And full purge is nothing but when we are importing the data for the first time. What exactly this one we will see when we are working with the importing word. Support cumulative update of countries, region, data, global information import in full purge. So this is also same like incremental and full purge when we are importing the country specific region data. After that, we have manage workflow. So what exactly the workflow is nothing but the approval process. For that, whenever we are writing the approval process, we need to enable all these settings. Manage hires, it is for add new employee, manage pending hire, rehire active employee. So while we are working with the hiring a new employee or a concurrent employee or a inactive employee, we will see whether these settings are enabled or not. Now company structure overview. So in company structure overview is nothing but we will be creating one structure of the company, how it looks like before entering the employer data. So to view that company structure overview, we need to have all these settings to be enabled in the system. Admin alerts. So what admin alerts are? If we enable this permission, then an admin will be getting the triggers and alerts from the user accounts, whatever the configuration changes are going on. After that, we have manage users. So manage users are nothing but in the system, in the particular company, how many users are there and whether if what and all changes they can do in their profile and what permission we can give as a consultant, we can decide in the manage user. After that, MDF objects. So MDF objects are nothing but for metadata framework. These are our foundation objects only. When we are creating a business unit, cost center, department, division. So if they are not able to see in the front end, then we will be coming here and enabling the permission into the MDF foundation object. After that, we have one more setting, manage security. So this is just for a security purpose. Manage time is for time of module, recruiting and all. So these all the settings we will be using as an employee central consultant. So once you select all the permission, here you can see that what and all permissions you have granted for this particular group. So if you can see all these are permissions, edit, insert, those everything we have selected. And if you come down here, now grant this role to. So to whom you are granting and who are the target user, from here we can decide. Now add define whom you want to grant this permission role to. So here permission group will be there. So if you want a particular manager, HR group, custom manager, or any particular, or everyone, for everyone you want to grant this role also, you can grant. Now specify the target population whom the above granted user have the permission to access. So here you, if you have mentioned everyone, then here you will be selecting as a granted user as a self, means you have given the permission to everyone, so they are the only target user as a front end users. If you have mentioned the managers and all, same thing, you have to mention as a granted user. Direct report is based on the requirement to whom you want to grant the permissions. So let's make as everyone self. From that also, data access period setting. If you have any like a restrictions or you want to give full access also, you can give and done. So once you give that everyone in self, then you have to come down again and save changes. So role name testing 1 2 3, access population 1 to 84 is too large. Are you sure you want to proceed? So you have given as a testing, we have just given the permission to everyone for the role what we have selected in a user and administrator permission. Hope you are clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is RBP. RBP is very much important. Whenever we are working, so it mandatory things to give the permission, and target user and granted user is to like it is a whole and soul of the complete employee central, because there only we will decide that what kind of permission other people can see into the system. So I'll be sharing you the notes. So in this notes, I have clearly mentioned what you have to do, how this permission rules will be existing. So just go through the notes and practice once or twice, then you will understand it very clearly.
Okay.
Okay. Hope everyone clear.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Open your servers and start going through the RBP so that it will give you an idea. Please speak out, guys. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is practice? Who will be sharing the screen? Hello. If you want to practice, you can practice in front of me, or else if you want to practice separately also, you can let me know. We'll end up the session. Please let me know.
Kavita, I can't share my screen. This is Renuka because I'm on the way home. So I'll practice and then later I'll practice.
Okay, others?
if anyone is not sharing, I'm ready to share, or else I can also do the self-practice, ma'am. Anything is fine for me.
Okay, whatever you feel comfortable, you can do it. Let me share you the notes. So just go through the notes once and do your practice.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, then nobody want to share the screens or practice. Okay, then you can do your self practice and let me know if you get any doubts there. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Shivalakshmi, Pavitra, Vinay. Okay, then guys, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am.